Bitcoin becomes the backbone of a new financial system, which it really is. Like, it's the king of the remittances. It's it is the immutable blockchain, and people have a lot of reasons that they trust it. In 14 years, no one's broken it, and there's no replacement. I'll guarantee you, if Bitcoin got to 36 million, okay, theoretically, the U.S. cost of debt would go to zero.
What if I told you Bitcoin could hit $5 million? Sounds crazy, right? But according to financial analyst Tom Lee, it's not just possible, it's inevitable. In this interview, Lee lays out a bold vision where Bitcoin could reach parity with gold, why institutional adoption is accelerating, and how a Bitcoin strategic reserve could reshape the global financial system. Could Bitcoin actually erase the US national debt? And what happens when banks and governments start stockpiling it? Stay tuned, because this conversation will change how you think about Bitcoin forever. Hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and let's dive in.
Let you out of here without talking about crypto. You've got a chart in your deck that shows Bitcoin going to 5 million.
Yeah, say the craziest thing you can about crypto so we can clip this for TikTok.
How are we getting to 5 million?
Now that's
slowly.
Yeah.
And then all at once.
Yeah.
By the way, if you got to 5 million, because we have a grid to show it, it's that gold would be doubled in price.
Daniel, previous chart.
Yeah. Gold would double in price.
So this is if crypto reaches parity with gold in terms of market cap?
Yes.
Okay, it's not there already?
No, it's only 10% of the value of gold.
Wait, what? How much gold is there in the world?
There is
10?
$21 trillion of gold.
How much crypto? 3?
Bitcoin's 2.
Bitcoin by itself is 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the amount of money millennials choose to put into digital gold rivals the current amount of gold, you know what the flaw in that logic is? If there's this huge predilection for Bitcoin versus gold on the part of millennials, then the valuation of gold will shrink. So you might get parity, but that's because the amount of money in gold goes down.
Yeah. I thought about, and I got the numbers a little wrong. Let's say gold has to go to like $7,000 an ounce. However, I heard something interesting, and I didn't realize gold has outperformed the S&P 6 of the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So
quietly too.
Yeah. So gold isn't a bad asset class, but Bitcoin. So I think even if it's not like millennials need to buy gold for gold to go up, you just need the boomers to hold it.
You need central banks around the world to buy it and hold it, which they are.
That's right.
Okay. Do you get involved in any of these conversations about Bitcoin reserve? Like, are you talking to people that are involved in this at all, or not really?
Well, there is. I'm not going to the White House this week. Okay. I'm not invited, but we do have conversations with Congress people.
Okay.
But
are they like, Tom, what do you think if we do this?
Do you think it's a good idea?
They're like, can you pump my coin?
Yeah, is it a good idea? Why would we have a Bitcoin strategic reserve?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Why?
Well, we already have one. We've confiscated Bitcoin.
That's not all right, but why do you think it makes sense?
Why should we buy more?
If Bitcoin becomes the backbone of a new financial system, which it really is, like, it's the king of the remittances. It is the immutable blockchain, and people have a lot of reasons that they trust it. In 14 years, no one's broken it, and there's no replacement. Then if the U.S. owns 1 million Bitcoin, they'll be the largest holder of Bitcoin.
But we're just what are we doing with it? We're facilitating trade with it, or we're just holding it? Well, if it's a strategic reserve with a strategic petroleum reserve, they use it when there's like an oil shortage, or there's a problem, or there's a dislocation. They will tap the reserve, and then when prices calm down, they'll add it back. How does Michael's question, like how does a Bitcoin strategic reserve function? Okay. Would there be a shortage of Bitcoin? And
to what end?
These are good questions, but keep this in mind. So oil's a strategic commodity.
Clearly.
Okay. Now, oil only has 7 buyers, really. It's the refiners. Oil, that's produced everywhere, it's really just bought by refiners.
Who then turn it into something useful.
Yeah, to distillates and gasoline.
Okay.
But there's really only 7 buyers. And so if you look at oil, the oil market that's bought for distillate, and then take the total trading volume of oil against that, What do you think the ratio is?
I don't know, tiny, right?
400. For every dollar of oil that's bought at a pump,
I
it's traded
see.
400 times on speculation.
Wow. Okay.
So you need a strategic petroleum reserve because there's so much price speculation around it that you could be whipsawed if you didn't control some way to manage prices.
Okay. So Bitcoin is the same.
Yeah, so let's
Tons
say
of
Bitcoin,
speculation around
let's say
it.
that it becomes 10% of people's net worth and banks start to use it to secure information. Because remember, the blockchain, you can just store 1 pixel of a 10 million page document, but the hash will detect if you changed 1 pixel. So that's why you're going to use the Bitcoin to secure information, right? Well, that's really valuable, but then wouldn't the US want to be able to control this blockchain or exert some way to censor it somehow?
Okay.
And, once banks start trading Bitcoin, like Citadel, it will probably be the most profitable product for Goldman and JP
Because of
Morgan.
how volatile it is,
Yeah.
bid-ask spreads are wider.
Correct. And if oil's traded 400 times, Bitcoin might be 1,000 times. It's going to be a hugely traded commodity.
Okay, so this is a productive thing, even though, to my earlier point, we have a budget deficit, we have tons of debt. This is a project that we should also undertake now because it might come in handy at some point in the future.
Yeah, well, the US owns 200,000 Bitcoin, as long as it's not, those keys are safe.
Okay.
And so let's say they buy 800,000 more through the Exchange Stability Fund, so another 80 billion.
If they do that, I think the price goes to $1 million too. I just don't know if they're going to do that.
Yeah, but then if Bitcoin gets to 36 million, there's no national debt.
Okay. In that fantasy, who do you sell the Bitcoin to pay off the debt, though? I've heard that before.
Michael Saylor, hello.
So Michael Saylor buys the Bitcoin from us, and we use the proceeds to extinguish our debt.
Well, it's not. You don't need to sell it because it's almost the same thing as like if Nvidia is 3 trillion. It's not like someone would say, "Oh, well, you're going to liquidate all 3 trillion, so it's not worth 3 trillion." It's as long as the value is stored at that level.
Okay.
And you can still trade
Then
it.
we could say it's an asset that offsets the debt that we have. We don't have to use it to pay down the debt.
Yeah.
We could just say we're backing that debt with this asset.
I'll guarantee you if Bitcoin got to 36 million, okay, theoretically, the US cost of debt would go to 0.
Okay.
They would have because they have 0 net debt.
What's going to happen on Friday?
I think, so the base case, I think it's a really bad jobs report, maybe 50,000. I think the market panics, but Powell's speaking at 12:30, and you're going to see the May odds 100%.
Because Powell's gonna make it all better. Like he's gonna calm people down. Like we're aware of the situation.
Well, because this is like now with Atlanta, GDP now negative, and then jobs. This is not like the Fed can sit there hawkishly.